joining in. Oh, did you name it Dallas Card Show Podcast?
It's on. Hey guys, we're like putting this together last minute because my boy Ryan over here from Breakout Cards just landed. I'm talking about like he just walked in the door like 2 minutes ago. And we're basically going to hang out with you guys. We're going to talk a little bit about the hobby, about him going on this crazy trek of basically doing 2 shows in 2 nights. That's how committed this man Ryan is. I think you should maybe scooch in because you're like
a little bit. There we go.
There we go. So basically, what made you go on this crazy trek of just doing 2 shows and where are you going first and foremost? Tell everyone.
Yeah, so I just got off work at 5 o'clock. I drove pretty much straight to the airport, and I'm in Dallas now. So I know there's 2 big shows this weekend. There's the Dallas show and Atlanta show, and I honestly didn't know which one to go to. There's some people that are just going to Dallas. There's some people that were just going to Atlanta. I decided it'd be fun to go to both. So I decided I'm gonna go to Dallas Saturday, Atlanta Sunday, since Atlanta's closer back to home from Orlando. So I fly across the country, head back east, then down south, and that's gonna be my weekend, building out that triangle.
Oh my God. So how much rest have you gotten lately?
Yeah, so last night I was working on a video till about 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning. Had to get up at like 5:30 or so to start packing. Then I went to work all day and then went straight to the airport. So I'm pretty tired, but that's just gonna be this weekend in general.
And I'm a little upset at this guy right here because he promised me an autographed Bernie Williams / Torrey Hunter dual auto. When he got here, he was gonna hand it to me, and we were gonna work out a little deal for it because I met Torrey Hunter. So that card means a lot to me to get an autographed card of his, and he forgot it.
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys.
So
but I'm bringing it to Nationals. Or National, not Nationals.
I almost feel like kicking him out because of that. Oh my God. So you're gonna leave here at 6 tomorrow, something like that? You better get your rest.
Yeah, I'll have to figure out the schedule. I don't know exactly when that airplane ride is, but we're going to the airport then and heading into Atlanta, I think at 10 or 11 o'clock at night when I land there and go to there. It'll be a lot of fun.
So I gotta say this. Like, I met you in less than a year ago, back in November. Our first show together, we were both at like 200 subs. Both of us like in a raw infancy stage. And we hit it off because we both just talked on the phone for like an hour or 2 the first time we talked, and that was it. We had a bond, and we were talking about the hobby, about having a YouTube channel. And you're up to how many subs right now?
We just hit about 3,200 this week.
3,200 subs. We were both at 200 subs. I'm at like 825, I think, last I checked. This guy's getting sponsors. He's doing his thing. Did you ever think that you would get to this point?
Honestly, no. I mean, I'm chilling and making videos, going around and enjoying the hobby.
Wow. Well, it just speaks for how likable you are, how you keep plugging away, how you keep grinding. It's very admirable. I gotta say, I'm impressed. I'm happy for you. But most of all, I think it's because you're genuine. You basically just talk about the hobby, about your passion for cards. And that's one of the things I liked about you, was that even though we have quite an age difference, you were basically just Google over cards, and I was like, that's why I like this dude.
That's why part of the hobby. It connects people. I mean, people can have completely different lives, but over the enjoyment of cardboard, now everyone becomes friends.
We got to see what he got here.
I have some trade bait, some stuff I want to show as well. But also, I want to say hi to Clay. Clay just messaged in there, said, "What's up, guys?" So, how are you doing, Clay?
So what do we got here?
These are cards I 100% don't want to get rid of, but if I can make a trade for like a Cy Young. So this is my Stan Musial. I really want to keep that in my PC, but I also want a Cy Young, and I just value a Cy Young a little bit higher in my PC, but I prefer pitcher cards over batters. But it's a 2.5, and I know I could get another 4 later down the road. Now this one, funny enough, I paid probably like $5 or $10 a long time ago for this card. I finally got back from PSA, so I was actually happy with this grade. I wish I got a 10, but I understand why I got a 9. But it's centered nicely, sharp corners. This card that you're about to see, I'm really disappointed at. Is this not the nicest 6 you'll ever see?
This is a sharp 6, man. What the hell is wrong with it? What can you see that's wrong with this
The
card?
surface is clean too. What's up, Otani? But yeah, I mean, the only thing that's wrong with it is this little edge right there. There's so I'm gonna send this to Card Score, and they're gonna be able to go over this at the National. So I'm hoping I keep this card before the National. I don't really expect the dealer to pay over a 6, because they're always gonna be like, oh, the label says 6, so I can't give you more than what a 6 is. Even though, good luck finding a 6 this nice. So it's gonna be, Card Score's gonna use this as an advertisement, showing their software and showing how people can grade it, the differences between something that's already been graded and everything like that. Just as a good backup system.
Well,
Fix your hair before going live, guys. I've had a long day.
all right. One of the questions I want to ask you is, what's been one of your biggest learning experiences within the last year with the channel or the hobby or altogether? Like, what's been one of your biggest learning experiences?
Yeah. Well, I'll just message that real quick. He says wrinkle. Yeah, there's no wrinkle. If there's a wrinkle in a card, it automatically goes down to a 4 as well. But yeah, my biggest learning experience is having the option to actually trade away your cards. You're going to have the opportunity to get that card once again. So if you need to use that card in a trade to get a higher up card that you really, really want, use that, because you're going to look back and regret not making that trade. So that's why I bring cards like this. Do I really want to get rid of a LeBron rookie that's a 9? No, but I know there's a lot of these out here, and I can pick this up again. Do I want to get rid of this Stan Musial? No, absolutely not. And there's only probably like 5 or 10 cards that I'd trade this for. But if the opportunity is there, and I'm going to a lot of shows recently, I'm going to be able to use this and leverage it into a bigger trade with that. On the other side of things as well, unlike the YouTube side, planning is the biggest thing. So when I first made card show videos, I just go out there with my camera, I'd do a few different things, show off the cards, and that's it. And they're boring videos. Like if you look at the very beginning ones, Steven was actually in charge of those videos as well. Like I wasn't even in the videos because I didn't want to be on camera for that side of things. I just recorded everything and edited and made all the thumbnails and everything like that. And that was the channel. But then I was like, all right, I need to actually be in these videos, talk about the cards, the history behind it. And every week I try to add in a few new elements to the card show videos and just try to continue to make them better. Now my edits are 10 hours and I make that a regret, I'll tell you that.
And you've been doing a great job with the editing. I've seen the evolution from November when I was checking out your videos to now, and they're like taking on a life of its own. I know you probably could get creative with it and get to a point where you're already have an idea how you want to present certain shows, because I go through that.
So that's one thing I do now before a show is I try my best to storyboard. Now, I didn't have a lot of time to storyboard for this show, so I literally just have a piece of paper with a bunch of notes. But for some other shows, I'll actually have like a sequence of shots that I want to be able to achieve there, and then start crossing them off while I'm at the show. It's not 100% a perfect system, but as long as I get 80% of the shots, I can flow things together and then add in B-roll to make the footage.
Well, all right, so let's talk about the hobby.
Yeah.
Right now, the climate is that you see constant videos coming up on YouTube that things are crashing, or people like to also say it's leveled out, a correction. I guess it's a C word, whether it's crashing or correction. What do you think is happening with the hobby right now?
I mean, I think it's a correction. I mean, the hobby keeps going up and down, but when you have cards that are getting 10,000% returns, you can't always have a market continue to go up, up, and up. I mean, even look at the stock market. Anytime the stock market goes up for a bit, it does go back down. It's not a full-on crash. If you look at where cards were 3 or 4 years ago compared to today, they are so far up the board. And a lot of people don't realize that. I mean, I've been in the hobby for 15 plus years. I've seen when cards like this LeBron were $10. Now a 9 is over $1,000. And you're talking about turning $10 into $1,000 in less than 20 years. You don't even get that return on a lot of other investments. So like there has to be corrections in a market. You just can't expect to continue to make money over and over again. And I kind of find that interesting. I didn't watch these videos yet, but some of the YouTubers talking about credit in the market, how people are putting a lot of debt on their credit cards just to buy cards, expecting everything to go up. Very dangerous.
I've tried to tell people that, like, don't put anything on your credit cards. Even when we were at the round table with Dr. James Beckett, I wanted to bring up that point, but it just wasn't enough time to bring up all the points that people wanted to speak about. But that was my point I wanted to talk about, where people were gambling. I stated it, I think, in one of the first questions, but it just never got to me. But I feel like the gambling within the hobby is where people are getting bit in the ass, literally. And it's sad. The collectors are winning because they had no plans to sell their cards. But the ones that were flipping or looking to get a quick bang, $1,000 here or $2,000 because they hear Gary Vee or other people tout this is easy money, they're getting bit. And they thought they could take that PSA return real quick within a month and flip it because this guy's hot right now. And now the cards for a year at PSA, they're getting a chunk of that ass cheek just ripped, torn apart. And it's sad. It's sad. It's definitely gambling. And unfortunately, it's a double-edged sword. It's fun to collect. It's, it could get pricey. It's I personally take a bit of my budget out of every payment that I get, and I put it towards cards. So for me, it's something that I invest in, but I do it healthy. If I got bills to pay and I got things on the agenda, I don't touch cards. I literally just ignore it because I don't let it run my life. It's something that's meant for fun. But yeah, unfortunately, it's a double-edged sword out there. All right, so about like fractional sharing, what do you think about that right now? I remember you asked me way back when, January, I think, about fractional sharing, and I told you I wasn't down with it. What do you think's going on now? You hear people trying to sell off their shares, and it's like the weirdest thing.
It is. So yeah, look, originally, and even up to 6 months ago, I was really against fractional shares, just to be fully transparent with it. But my views kind of changed over time. And the reason why is not everyone can afford the $3 million cards or $4 million cards that some of these companies are being able to purchase. And if you want to have a little piece of that, I mean, I look at it kind of like how people look at stocks now. And if you can return that, I mean, a lot of cards have been selling for more. I mean, obviously there's a risk with it. Me personally, I'd rather have a physical card in a lower grade. But for people that don't know anything about the hobby and they have access to, let's say, a 33 Galaxy of Babe Ruth as an 8 or a 53 Mantle as a 7 and getting into more safer investments than rather just buying your random prospect that's hyped up, I think it's a better opportunity there. Plus, that person now doesn't have to go out there and actually sell the card, whether it's on a marketplace or at a card show. So for that person that wants to be a little bit lazy, not really research cards, but respect a company that's already done the research and has all the data behind it and looks at a very high-end vintage card, I think I'm for it now. My views have changed.
And I like the word you use there, research. That's something that I don't think enough people respect in the hobby. They think they could just, because they follow sports, they know who's doing well in sports and they could just go after those cards. You can't just do it that way. You need to research. You need to know pop reports. You need to know where cards have peaked to know if you're getting in at a high point. And I personally, I don't go running for modern cards for that reason. I don't have the time to research, so why bother? If I like a player, yeah, I'll invest in them. Very small though investment. Like I'll just pick up a paper 9 or a 10. And that's the other thing. I don't flip them, so I don't care if it's not a 10. I just want to have the card. But someone like me, it's not going to affect me. But others, you guys need to do your research. You need to respect the hobby. And a lot of people, that's another thing that's killing them right now. They're not researching. They're going in haphazardly, throwing money at blasters, or hoops came out. So let me go after hoops when everybody knows Prism is king. So it's tough. Now, Ziggy, someone that I like to follow, he basically is into NFTs. How do you feel about NFTs?
I think it's an opportunity out there. Look, I haven't done my research into NFTs, so I can't say whether they're great for the hobby or people individually, or they're bad. When NBA Top Shot was there, I did end up flipping a few of those because it made no sense not to. When you buy a pack for $9 and they're selling for $100 on eBay, I'm going to do those lotteries all day long. But ever since Top Shot has died down a little bit, I really haven't researched more on the NFT side of things. I'm just so busy between still researching cards. Like my main research right now is into cricket cards, golf cards, and boxing. So I'm trying to learn as much as I can about these different sports. Mainly cricket right now, some of the bigger names and everything like that. And there's so much to it because these cards have been produced since 1800s all the way to today. But I just really haven't gotten into the NFT side of things. I know a lot of people are pushing it. You have Gary Vee on that side. You also like Jameson. There's a few others also in the hobby. You talked about Ziggy as well with the Prism packs. But I just haven't done my research, so I can't say whether I'm really pro for it or against it. Personally, I prefer physical assets. I like looking at things in person and feeling. I'm like a touch type person. I like seeing the slabs and everything like that, rather than having it online. But I understand why people want to have it online because you can transfer it instantly. You don't have to meet someone at a show if you wanted to trade this card. You can go online and say, okay, I'm trading your NFT for this NFT, or I'm going to buy this NFT. And it's instant, just like that. So it's a lot better than going out here and have to mail this. You might have USPS loses it or FedEx loses it in the mail rather than that. So that's kind of like my opinion on that one right now. I have to do a little more research.
Well, the one thing I have to say that I respect Ziggy every time I ask him questions about it is, what the pop report is. It gives you the number 1,500 or 1,000. So you have one of 1,000, as opposed to a raw card. There's many, like no one knows how much have been produced. And that's where it could get a little bit scary because this hobby got very popular during the pandemic. And Top says that they didn't overproduce, they didn't produce more, like they kept everything, even Steven. But where's the paperwork? Where's the stats showing us that this is actually happening? So the only thing that you have to go with is parallels where they have numbers or autos, and those are the scarce ones. But then it's like, are you really going to pay $200-$300 for an autograph of someone who maybe has 10 at-bats in the league just to get in on him in case he busts out and becomes the next, I guess, a Dallas Garcia right now? No one knew who he was in 2019, 2020, and he hits like 16 bombs, and suddenly everybody wants his cards now. So I guess that's where NFTs is a little bit cool, where how much is out there. And when you have one of those, you kind of could either consider yourself lucky if you have a good player, or you just know you don't have much. And it's a little more transparent is the only thing I could say about NFTs that's kind of cool. So is there anything else you want to talk about right now before maybe we start looking at some of the questions here?
No, I mean, if you're in the chat, just ask away questions. I mean, that's why we're here.
Feel free, talk to us. Let us know what you're thinking about. I have my tablet here. I might have to put on some glasses because I cannot read all this.
Oh, you're good.
Do you see any questions there?
Yeah, I kind of have to scroll through them.
All right, so I got people saying, "What's up?" The legendary breakout cards.
I'm not a legend yet, but
didn't even fix your hair before going live.
Yeah,
awesome cards.
It's been a long day, man.
Yeah, is there a sneaky wrinkle? Oh, they're talking about your card with.
Yeah, there is no wrinkle on it. I mean, I'll show you closer.
And then Eddie loves your Musil, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I love it too. I don't want to get rid of it, but I really want to get a Cy Young for the PC, and I just value a Cy Young, especially the portrait, a little bit higher than a Musil, just for my own personal collection, even though they're probably close to equal cards. At least I think so, because Musil is such a great player.
Let me see if I can highlight some of these questions as I. Okay, so Saint Gang, did you guys play ball? What position?
Yeah.
How long?
You go first.
I played not majors or anything like that, but I did play organized with the hard softball for a little while. I even broke my finger. This finger's fused together, rotator cuff surgery. So I did do what I can, but there's been so much I was able to get out of this 5'7" body that I have. How about you?
Yeah, so when growing up, I used to play a lot of travel ball baseball throughout the state of Florida. So going to card shows every weekend, I used to go to baseball tournaments throughout the state, which is a lot of fun. And then I played up until pretty much a little bit through high school. I had some stuff going on and my skills declined. I got really obese. I focus more on school rather than the athletic side of things, which can go as a good thing and a bad thing as well, because I ended up working out with scholarships, but I got really fat, was way out of shape, and didn't balance life. So I played for a long time, and it was cool though because the different players that you played with. I'm pretty sure I played against Bichette because he played for the Chet Lemon Juice in Orlando, and we always used to face them. He's about the same age as me, so Bo Bichette. I don't know if I struck him out or he hit a home run off of me, but
He probably
hit a home run off me, to be honest with you. But it was fun back then. There's probably a few other minor leaguers as well. I know a few other players that are in the minor leagues right now that I played with, like on the same teams, but they haven't been called up to the majors yet.
Wow. All right, so let's get on to the next question. You can read it.
He says, I agree. It's a correction. Yeah. I mean, it's not crashing. What is crashing is your 2017, 2018 Prisms that were way overhyped. When you have $1,000 base card that has pops higher than your 90s junk rock era, you just can't expect it to stay there forever.
Exactly. Then we got B-Roth.
So
hey, how you doing, Brian?
So what Gaudis are you selling? So I don't want to sell them, but if I need to get capital to make a trade.
He's got a book bag here full of some slabs. Let's see what he has. Let me read some more questions here.
Yeah, so last week I ended up making a trade for Eddie Shore with my Dizzy Dean. I was really happy about that one.
So you also asked, am I going to the National? Yes, I am. Me, Ryan, we're going to be there. We're actually going to share Airbnb. So that's how this has gotten. We're like, we got a good camaraderie. We're going to be at the Airbnb hanging out, but I doubt we're going to be there much. It's probably going to be hangout parties left and right, but I will be there. Ryan will be there. Steve will be there. And oh, by the way, Ryan is one half of Breakout Cards. The other half is Steven. So shout out to Steven. He couldn't make it this time.
So here's some of them right here that I have. So a Chuck Klein 4.5. This is also the Canadian version. So if you see something that says Worldwide Gum, these are the ones that were printed in Canada rather than, I'll put it a little closer. Just lighting. There you go. So this is Worldwide Gum. So if it has Worldwide Gum, it's printed in Canada rather than the United States. But same Gaudi company. Another one right here. So this is a Jesse Haynes. So you can see that these were printed in 1934, but this is a 1933 design. Kind of interesting with that. I have a Goose Goslin here. And then I have a Lefty Gomez as well. So I don't like getting rid of my Gaudis, but if I have to get some capital to be able to get a Cy Young card or a few other of the pre-war cards that I'm really, really looking for, I don't want to mention them because they're kind of really low pop. These will have to go.
So you're always looking to upgrade when you can for something a little bit more scarcer or just a wish list card? Like
Kind of both because, I mean, some of these are probably lower pop than the Cy Young that I want. I could be wrong. I don't have the pop reports on top of my head, but I just wanted that because as a pitcher growing up, the Cy Young Award is what the best pitchers were given, and I just think it'd be really cool to have in the PC.
Now we're both looking for Cy Young. So we might be fighting over the same card at the National or even tomorrow when we go to the show.
I think a lot of people are fighting over Cy Youngs, though.
Well, I personally am working on that Triple Crown collection, and he's one of the names there. I'm trying to get the big three: Cy Young, Chrissy Mathewson, Walter Johnson. I only have Walter Johnson right now, but once I get the other two, then it's going to be the three-headed monster, and I'm going to be showcasing them in the Triple Crown collection. But I'm only showcasing them all three together, so I'm waiting to get at least one of them so far. I guess you could read the questions from there. I'm going to read them over here.
So Zach goes, I like a physical card as a collector. 100% agree with that one. Classic Cards goes, yo.
What's up, Eric?
Tiger says, hello all. James, are you going National? Classic goes, I think most people in the hobby want something tangible. They can collect E-Tops, Tops Bunt, all been done and failed before. I think most of your collectors want something physical. I'll agree with that. I think your newer collectors, though, are okay with just digital-only cards. And I think that's also changed with how the collecting base used to be. I mean, if you look at old-school collectors, a lot of people only collect vintage cards and aren't going to collect modern stuff. Then you have some new collectors that only collect modern stuff won't even research this stuff in the past or don't even want to collect that stuff. And then you have some people like me, just a freak that collects both. Tiger goes, I agree, not a dang on digital cards. What's the point? It's like non-alcoholic beer. Not a fan. Rudog goes, what's up, guys?
What up, Mark?
Oh, there's a lot more.
I already read those.
Oh, you did?
Scroll down. Yeah.
Do you read that too? I'm finding vintage cards not going down, finding hard deals on vintage cards. They seem to keep steady or going up. What do you think? I agree and disagree because some vintage cards get pumped and they go up and then they start going down. So like the Bob Gibson card, I used to own his rookie card, and a few months ago was $850, and now I've seen fours go for only like $400 to $500. So that's gone down quite a bit. I'm not sure why. Maybe it got pumped when he ended up passing away. Passed away like a year ago or so.
Yeah.
But I think it'll end up catching up to it once again because one of the greatest pitchers of all time.
Yeah, no, vintage you'll never go wrong with. You know why I love Mantle, but it's not just Mantle. Willie Mays, you name it. I'm trying to get a Sandy Koufax. I think he's going to get the Bob Gibson treatment. When he passes, his cards will double. Same thing with any other living legend. You saw what happened to Hank Aaron. His cards were undervalued, and unfortunately he passes, and his cards went up to like $4 or $5 grand. It happens with all the living legends. Nolan Ryan's another one. Not Ryan Nolan, Nolan Ryan. And he's another one. That card will probably double, triple, who knows. So, but vintage is, I told him when I first met him, vintage is king. I never could go wrong with a vintage card. They're not going to produce them anymore. And if anything, all the nicer ones are getting sold off. That's what happens with vintage.
Does.
All the 6s are gone, so now you got to settle for the 5s. Those are gone. Now you got to settle for the 4s, and then the 3s.
That's why I even like this 4 right here. I'm so hesitant getting rid of it unless I want to get a PC card because the 4s will dry up. They're going to skyrocket. Then it goes down to the 3s, 2s, and 1s. There's only so much.
And then you have to settle for 1.5 because that's all you could find until that 1, 4, or 3 comes up. But then you're fighting with everyone else who wants that same card. And it sucks, but that's the reality of the situation. It happened with T206s. When I got into T206s, I couldn't find American Beauties or anything else that was even semi-scarce. It was only Piedmont and Sweet Capital. That's it. Once in a while, you get like a PB. I call them PB and J's. I call them PB and J's, but they're polar bears. And that's it. That's all you really find because everybody had all the Hindus and all the other cycles and they just never come up. It happens the same way with the vintage. Pre-wars are just whatever you could find. That's literally...
It is. It's a free-for-all.
Yeah. Whatever you could find whenever it comes up. I'm looking for Grover Cleveland Alexander cards for the Triple Crown collection. I never see them come up. And when they do, they always go for more than what the previous one sold for. So he's one that's killing me because they were out there and I refused to buy one because I was looking for the bigger names. And he's a big name, but his card was teetering around 500. And I said, let me try to get Cy Young first. And now his cards, I can't find them. All of them are sold, all of them. And I'm so pissed at myself.
That's why I'm keeping my Sisler. So I picked up a Sisler, but Sisler doesn't have any really big cards that there's like a lot of printed out. So I think I have like his 1928 Harringtons. I think that's what it's called.
Oh, the Harrington ice cream one.
Ice cream, yeah. So that's at SGC right now. It's getting actually resold. I can't wait to see what it's out. But that was actually a Dallas Card Show pickup.
Wow.
So Rudog goes, can you give any quick tips on how to spot fake vintage? So first thing is buy a loop because you're going to be able to see the print details. Most of the counterfeits out there can't reproduce the printing. So if you have a loop, you can look really close. Most of the older stuff is going to have all solid printing. It's not going to be pixelated. When people make fakes, they pretty much print out a copy of these and try to pass it off. Another thing as well is look for artificial aging. Very common on the Gaudis. People will put scratches into them, make very round corners, and often those are really fake. I mean, you can just look on eBay for a 33 Gaudi Ruth. I'd say probably 99.999% of the Gaudi Ruths that aren't slabbed on eBay are going to be fake, and you can just start looking at examples. Coloring also, I mean, look at the real one compared to the fake one. Coloring is often missed. But the biggest thing I look at with everything is the smaller details because of the printing process. And these bigger companies have access to higher end printers. Your person that's going to be building out fake counterfeits isn't going to have that same technology. So the small details are often missed. And when I do my spotting fake series, I always look at the small details first when comparing cards because people aren't going to be able to replicate them. And if you can't replicate the smaller details, everything else falls apart. So take a look at that if you're looking online because you don't have access to a loop if you're going on eBay. You can't just load it up with that. That's the big thing. Also, light test. So if you have a flashlight and you're looking at older cards, flash it through. There's a few years that don't work. I think it's 1959 tops, and there's also 66 or 67 that doesn't work as well. You can see a little bit, but just make sure to test it with the real example from that year first. See how much light goes through, because then you can determine, okay, this card is real or fake. These Gaudis, no light should be coming through. Also knowing the printing process, so how the Gaudis are printed and how they have thicker prints. Sometimes you're going to see bleeding coming back, and fakes aren't going to have that bleeding just because it's so hard to replicate. So knowing like small minor details about how a card was produced will help you out on determining the fake. I mean, there's so many different things. Another thing you have to be careful for as well is trim cards when you're looking at this stuff. Again, look under the loop. Someone said they'll feel the edges of the card and they'll feel differently if it's trimmed as well. I really haven't tested this out yet at a card show. I'm going to test it out with some cheaper cards, cut them up and everything like that. Another thing you need to make sure is if a card wasn't recolored, very common on the 71s, the best way, put the card sideways and see if there's any Sharpie going across because the Sharpie bleeds through. A lot of people try doing that to cover up any wear and tear. So that was a quick rundown. There's a lot. I'm still working on my book, so I'm trying to finish that out before National.
Especially on the 71 tops, they try to color in the black edges to make it look a little bit nicer. Me personally, I like buying raw, but what I do is I always put two cards next to each other, and I make sure, like edge to edge, they match up. If they don't match up, I don't even touch that card, and I treat it like it has COVID. Secondly, the feel, the smell. It should smell like mildew, like an old basement at a library or something. It should have that mildewy smell. The feel, it should be glossy on one side, like dry on the other. Matted, I guess, is the other thing. And basically, it should have like little bumps on the front edge. You should see little texture on it. And like he said, I always put it where I want to see the sheen. Because with the sheen, you can see the scratches, if it's been colored, if there's something off with it. And if I see signs like that, I don't touch them. I just put them back. I don't take the risk. And why take the risk when you go to grade it? It's going to come back authentic or not gradable. So I've turned down a lot of cards just by looking at them, feeling them, putting them side to side. Even on eBay, I'll buy a card and I send it right back. I'll just say, hey, I think this might have been trimmed. I'm not saying you trimmed it. I'll never put them out hang to dry, but I'll say I'm questioning whether it's been altered, so I don't want the card. And sometimes they put up a little stink, and I'm like, whatever. You know, I call up eBay. I don't got to deal with you. And I call up eBay, and I tell them, listen, I want my money back. And they refund me every time. So I never worry about buying on eBay raw cards because of that. But I do my due diligence, which is what I recommend you all do.
So classic cards goes, how many David Fletcher cards do you have, and why don't you have any? I have none, to be honest.
David Fletcher, he's a good player, but he's the #1 David Fletcher collector, Eric. And classic cards, I think outside of California, a lot of people don't know who he is. I'm sorry to tell you that. But maybe he'll get popular eventually. I think he's on a 24 or 25 game hitting streak. So he keeps reminding me through our chats.
There's another YouTuber that always promotes David Fletcher. It's like, it's not a baseball card YouTuber, but another like does baseball content. I can't remember the guy's name. Well, maybe Classic Cards knows.
What else do we have here?
Legos. I know Elite Hunters likes boxing cards. I love them too. Just bought a few of them. Joe Louis, Rocky, and Tyson.
Oh, wow. Nice. That's a good one to get us.
It also says, can't wait to see videos of Dallas and Atlanta show from Ryan. Have fun in your travels. Thanks. It's gonna be a great vlog.
Yeah.
You're great.
I can't wait to see him like rush off. I'm probably gonna be at the show with him, and then he's just gonna dip out or
It's
something,
gonna happen.
and then I'll see him in Atlanta, basically.
I'm gonna grab my barbecue and then go straight to the airport. Tigers goes, I can't remember specifically, but there's an issue with the copyright logo on the Ricky Anderson rookies. Yeah, so that's one of the big signs as well. And that if you use a loop on those, if you look at the printing process on the fakes compared to the real ones, it becomes pretty obvious on that one as well. That's one of the cards I also have in the book where I talk about it. I haven't made a YouTube video on it yet, but you'll see it in there.
The printing issue, I believe, is like that he went to Fresno or something like that, States, and he didn't go to that college. He went to a different college, something like that. And they always put that. And then also there's like a copyright or something missing.
It's not complete.
Right.
It's broken. It's always a smaller detail. So the copyright sign was so small that they can't print it. And it's also something like with the 86 Michael Jordan. The first like generations of reprints before, like right now, the reprints are so good. I won't even buy a card raw of that just because they're that good. Like, don't buy a Michael Jordan raw. Don't do it.
What's the next question?
Oh, there we go. Feel the cards. True vintage has a rough and aged feel. Newer reprints will feel smoother. Yep. It's always about the stock.
Yeah, I recommend. This is another thing. If you're gonna buy raw, get yourself a couple copies of commons that cost $1 or whatever. And then, like, let's say for the 56 tops, they had a gray back and a white back. Get yourself one of each. So like that, if you buy a copy of a white back, you know what to compare it to. And if you buy a copy of a gray back, you know how to compare it to that one, because the gray back is actually thicker stock. And get yourself, if you're going to get into a 57, or let's say you want to get an expensive 57 Frank Robinson rookie card or a Hank Aaron card, get yourself a cheap one, a dollar pickup somewhere, even if it's a beater, but you at least want to see the stock, see what the print looks like, see how thick the borders are. That's another thing. Sometimes they don't get the borders as fine as the originals are. You want to see how yellow the borders look. Sometimes they have like a little yellowing to it. You want to see what it looks like compared to a real one to the fake one. And if it looks too bright white, it might be too good to be true. That's the way I feel about comparing cards. Always get yourself a cheap copy. I have millions of cheap beaters just to compare them. That's it. That's the only reason why I have them.
Look, we have spam. Can you block that fake account? Go on. So, hide user on this channel.
She wants sexy time.
There you go. They're deleted.
All right. Hey, how you doing, Adam?
Oh.
Wow, they bombed us.
Yeah, you might want to delete those because that's going to get your thing blocked.
I got to delete all of these?
Yeah.
But view deleted message, I deleted them all.
It has it on here. I guess that's because, all right,
It's
we're good.
probably
We're good.
still on. All right.
All right. So there we go. Foolish Baseball. That's the guy. Yeah. I watch his channel all the time. He talks about him and a few other players as well. Great. I love the stats on there.
He's the one with the Fletcher?
Yeah, Foolish Baseball. He's a baseball YouTuber, almost like 100,000 subscribers, and he makes like really, really interesting baseball videos that no one else does.
Oh, pretty cool. I got to sub to him. That's my problem. I don't follow everyone because how will I find them unless someone introduces me to these channels? And right now I'll ask them, I'll write it down, I'll sub them later, and now I got somebody else under my belt. So I don't know everyone in the card community.
Lee goes, when either of you make it to CSA Virginia show or the Philly show, I hope to meet and talk some vintage with you. They're both on my list of shows I want to go to this year. I don't know which ones I'm going to be going to. I have so many shows to be quite honest with you, which I'm trying to. My goal is eventually to go to a show in all 50 states, but I might go to those.
Ooh.
Do you cover much hockey fakes in your book? Yeah, so the book is pretty much split between 4 sports. You have baseball, football, hockey, and basketball. I have about 25% equally on all of them. There's going to be 50 different fakes in that book as well, so expect about 12 on average for each sport. I try to do different players, some of the most iconic cards in there as well, things that are most counterfeited. I have a list on there, which is the top 10 most counterfeited cards as well that I've seen on eBay and Facebook Marketplace and everything else like that. Again, I have a lot of the videos on my channel as well. I think the only hockey one I have on my channel right now is Gretzky. I have another one I don't remember. I didn't make a video today. I'm sorry, guys. But
So when you see a card like this, here's hockey. A card like this, you could tell if it's a real or fake right off the back.
so this is a 92 Upper Deck. Who's faking junk wax? It also has a hologram on the background.
He said, "Who's faking junk wax?"
I mean, there is though, because the Brett Hull, people made a lot of fakes of the O-Pee-Chee version of that. That was actually one of those first cards out there.
So a card like this is what they'll fake, like this year. If it were hockey, though.
Let's see. That's a nice one though. Sony jersey. I don't remember exactly what year this was, like 68 or something like that.
It's like, yeah, something like 65 or 67, somewhere around there.
Yeah. Well, you have the Bobby Orr, which is a 66, I think, and that's definitely one of the top 10. I think it's 66. Correct me in the chat if I'm wrong. But that's one of the most fake cards out there. I see it all the time on Facebook. People are like, "Oh, I found this in an antique collection." Fake. Anytime someone says, "I don't know the authenticity of a card," they're telling you it's fake. Or, "I found this in my grandparents' collection," or, "I need to sell
Or an
this really
estate
fast,"
sale.
or estate sale. Unknown authenticity. I don't know what it is. Why don't they just get it graded?
Oh, we got bombed.
That's what I said. Hey, about the spammer. So Lee goes, "I have a Walter Johnson vintage baseball card. Do you have an opinion on which grading company I should grade it with?" So
Walter Johnson.
which Walter Johnson do you have? I'm curious.
If it's an original Walter Johnson, SGC all day, every day. PSA, also, you're fine with them.
I say it just depends on what you want to do. And the reason why you want to do that, whether it's PSA or SGC, is are you holding it for your own PC, or are you trying to flip it or trade it up to something else? Because that determines your strategy. Also, do you want to have this card back right now, or do you want to wait a year to get it back, or a few months if you're going to go express? So when I submit cards, I look at it. Do I need this card back right now? Do I want it back in a year? What are the opportunities? And I'm starting to think I don't want to send off all my cards to PSA and wait a year, because if I get these cards back by SGC in a month, I'm not going to get as much money as a PSA, but I can start trading them a lot faster and work my way up. Now, the only problem is the stigma in the hobby. A lot of dealers, especially newer ones, are going to say, "Oh, I don't want SGC. I just want PSA," because that's what they're known with. I mean, if you're new to the hobby within 1 or 2 years, even sometimes 3 years, you just think PSA, PSA, PSA. It's the only company out there. SGC graded vintage for a very, very long time, especially pre-war, and they have a good reputation. Beckett in the early 2000s was the best grading company. If you look at how the 2000 Tom Brady contender autos, most of them are in Beckett cases, not PSA slabs, because the company was way up there. But when you go to the lower tier companies like a HGA or GMA, don't send it there, man. Because they don't have the quality control as like a PSA or SGC, where they're actually going to make sure the card isn't trimmed, make sure that there's other alterations, and make sure it actually has a decent grade on it. These other companies, sure, if you want to send $1 card or $2 card to get them slabbed, there's nothing wrong with it, but they're slabbing fake cards and just not worth it.
They're slabbing trimmed cards also. I mean, even PSA is slabbing them. So there's a big thing going on right now with the auction house. They're trying to take down a trimmed card, and they're not doing it. So that's becoming a thing within the channels. They're talking about that left and right. I do agree with you though. Getting stuff graded, it all depends on what you're looking to do with the card. And if you don't need it back soon, then you could send it away and wait a year. That's up to you. Or you want to spend a lot of money and get it back faster. Or if you're not worried about the turnaround on your returns, you could go with SGC and get it back within a month for $25. But yeah, PSA, you have Mike Moynihan from Baseball Collector. He's about to spend $250 on each card at the National, but he really wants his card and he's not going to flip it. So he makes sense. He wants his card. He doesn't have to send it away. He doesn't have to deal with the post office or UPS destroying the card through shipment, which I had a Sandy Koufax card destroyed through shipment. So it does
Was
happen.
it destroyed? They found
Destroyed through a conveyor belt.
Oh.
Sandy Koufax rookie card. It is still one of my most angriest moments in the hobby. I only paid $1,000 for this card that was worth like $2,500, and it was destroyed in a conveyor. This was before January's boom, by the way. The card was worth anywhere from $1,000 to $1,500. I worked out a deal. Long story short, destroyed, and it left me with agita because I just saw the prices of Sandy Koufax was going up, and I was like, I can't buy Sandy Koufax no more. But yeah, he's spending $500, $250 for each card. It seems like an astronomical amount, but when you consider they're going to tack on their extra fees for an expensive card, the insurance, yada yada, you got to wait for things to get sent back to you. It's better just to go there, pay, you have it back in your hands, and you go home. And I get it. It's for his own personal collection. He's not looking to flip it, and more power to him. If he could do it, his comfort level, his peace of mind, it's worth it.
Yeah. So Show Me Otani says there's 2 different variations of the hologram. So if you want to load that up there.
Oh, the gold and the silver, I believe, right?
No, it's actually with like the logo or just the text. So this one just has the text on it. So there's another version that just has the logos going through. It's kind of interesting on that one. I know there's 2 variations. Next one over here. Oh, James, you have a celebrity in the chat.
Wait, I think he has a celebrity. Why do we gotta say he's a celebrity? Rick is always busting my balls. I'm gonna get you drunk, Rick, when I see you at the National.
He's going?
Yeah, he's gonna be there. He's one of the guys I'm looking forward to meeting.
Nice.
And he promised beers for everyone. So
there's 100,000 people there. It's gonna get expensive.
No, well, I think at the place wherever we're gonna be hanging out, and I'm gonna look for him. He's probably gonna be hiding, not to buy people beer, but I'm gonna get you drunk, Rick.
Thanks for the answer. I have a lot of vintage. I'm a collector. Won't sell them. Do you think PSA or SJC is better to leave by next generation? All right. Well, resale values right now, PSA is getting at least, even on like vintage cards, like a 20-30% premium. So if your next generation is just going to sell the card, you have to go with PSA. Now, if you're just keeping it just to have as like like something to keep in your family and you like the SGC slab, go with SGC slab over PSA slab. It's all personal preference with that. Personally, on tobacco cards, I like the SGC slab over a PSA slab, but I look at the resale value as well. And 20% of a $5,000 card or $4,000 card adds up really fast.
All right, I'm gonna give you an example just to bring up something else. GMA slab. It's a grade 4.5. I would deem this, by looking at the card, like a 3.5 to a 4 on its best day. And the reason why, it has a little indentation above
Oh,
its cap.
I didn't see that. I thought that was on the plastic.
Now, the card has great centering,
and eye appeal.
Good corners, good eye appeal. So I am of the belief you buy the card, not the slab, not the company who slabbed it. But this is a perfect example of what you're stating. I bought this card for about $240, I believe it was. But I looked at this picture left and right, and I was like, for a GMA slab, I'm gonna get this card for way less than what it's worth. Had this been in a PSA holder, this card probably goes for $350 to $400. But because it's in a GMA slab, I got it for, I think it was like $240 or it was cheaper, like way less. I put $280 or $300 as my max bid, and I was shocked that it hammered at like $240. But that's because it was in a GMA slab. People don't want a card that's in a GMA slab. I could care less. I just want the Mickey Mantle card. Look how centered it is. The corners are decent. And I was happy with the card. And I didn't even have to pay $300 to $400 for a card that's graded 4.5. But their grading isn't going to be as strict. People, if you're going to sell the card, they're not going to give you credit for the card being a 4.5. They're going to say, no, that's more like a 4. Like what I just told you, I assess it to be like a 3.5 or a 4 if it was in a PSA slab. but they're going to give you a hard time. So you're not going to want to flip a GMA card. You're just not. You're going to want to cross it over in the future, but you can buy it for cheaper like I did. And if you want to see it protected, not bad, because it's cheaper. It's like $15 to get it graded. Or if you just want to see a grade on it to get authenticated, that's okay too. I mean, some people just want to buy a raw card for $60, $70 and get it authenticated. Not bad. But long-term investment, it's not going to hold that much weight.
I'm gonna get some more B-roll real quick.
He's doing live B-roll for his own channel.
Oh, hold on. We need a lot more. Put this over here.
You're going to have to read because I'm not putting my glass.
I'm just setting the camera up over here.
Damn. All right, look at me. I look sad. Talk about how having a grading scale to all the 0.5s except the 9.5 doesn't make any basic common sense as far as grading scale goes. Now, I'm thinking you're talking about PSA. And PSA, that's where they give the 10, the gem mint, their high plateau, the royalty treatment, and everything else is just a 9 after that. No 9.5s like BVGs.
They do that on purpose, though. If you look at the values between a 9.5 and a 10, I mean, a lot of the 9.5s would cross the 10s, and the 9.5s cross the 9s. So you just, honestly, with modern cards too, when you get to that like half subgrade, it's, if you look at the differences between a 9 and 9.5 and a 10, to the average eye, you're not going to see it. A lot of people just pay for the number that's on the slab at the end of the day. I mean, I get a difference between a 6 and a 7 or a 7 and 8. Like, there's big differences, especially on the vintage side of things. But when you're looking at modern cards, it's so minimal. PSA did it on purpose because everyone loves a 10, right? 10's an easy round number. 9.5, how many people actually search 9.5? See, that's something I actually should do. I should look up the data behind it and see how many people search a 9 versus 9.5 versus 10. I bet you more people search for 9s and 10s rather than 9.5s. And just from that alone causes PSA to be the market leader.
I personally love 9s. I'm fine with 9s because eye appeal on a 9 is gorgeous. And you're not breaking the bank to own a 9. And sometimes I just want to own the card. But for investment value, if you want a 10 max money for your dollars, yeah, you're going to want a 10, but you're going to pay a premium for that 10, especially if it's PSA. Anything PSA 10, whew, it's always going to be about, what would you say, a third higher almost?
For which
a quarter? Anything PSA 10 compared to a 9.5 or a 9.
Oh, it always is. They always have that premium over it, which I just don't get. I get with the vintage cards, but with modern stuff, it's so close together.
Unless it's a pristine BVG 10. That's the one that's king over a 10.
And then the other one was the black 10 as well.
Oh, black 10.
And then you have like what's the NBA sticker or something like that people put on these cards as well.
Yeah. Let's get on to the next questions because I want you to get some sleep.
Well, everyone loves these things underneath here. SGC is king for vintage. They always have been.
Always have been. I love SGC. Plus the tuxedo, can't beat it.
Ryan is the only celeb here. Where will your book be available for purchase? So I'm gonna put it on my website. I'm not a celebrity, guys. I have 3,000 followers. I go to card shows and buy cards. I don't deserve to be a celebrity.
He's humble.
SGC for vintage. PSA is the Rolls Royce. SGC is the Ferrari. I mean, they're both nice cars. I mean, you want to give me one? I'm not complaining. Jay's Mix says, hello, James.
Hey.
Good to see you. Great info on grading. Hello, Alex. Oh, they're going back and forth there. And then I was going to go to bed, then saw James on. It's all about the card, not the grade if you're a collector.
Definitely. Mark knows about that. Mark, by the way, has one of the best collections with Jeters and Roberto Clemente. You guys need to sub up and watch some of his previous videos. That Jeter briefcase floors me every time.
I'll have to check it out. But yeah, I mean, I agree with that to an extent. The only bad thing is when you get a bad grade like this over here and you want to trade this card. Like if this got an 8 or 9, I'd be holding it in my PC. Just because that has a 6 under here, I'd have to re-slab it and everything like that. So at that point, for the hassle on it, I'd rather trade this for something I would want even more. SGC grades just as tough and more consistent than PSA. You can save some money buying SGC cards. Strictly collecting, not flipping, buy SGC.
Now they do. I do have to agree with Rick on that premise. Now SGC is pretty tough, and I don't have. I think I might have put that back in the
What,
bank, but I
SGC
have the
stuff?
T206s. At the time with the old slabs, I would compare like a 4 to 3s, and I thought I had it down packed. Then they go to the new grading scales and the labels and everything, and they got stricter. And when they got stricter, suddenly what I thought, what I got accustomed to, what they graded was now not the case. A 4 was now a 3.5 or a 3, and it was frustrating for me. I will tell you the truth. And look at what he hands me over here. Look at what this man is carrying here. He's gonna toy with my emotions and show me a damn Chrissy Mathewson.
That's only available for a Cy Young and a few other pre-war cards, which I'm not going to talk about until I get
Oh,
those.
this would look so good in my Triple Crown collection.
I think this is one of his best cards design-wise. Same
And
with
look at
Yogi.
Yogi,
I don't want to get rid of it.
52. This is a good card right here.
It's very undervalued.
This is a good card. I don't know if they're gonna make it out of this apartment right now.
That's so funny too. Dealers will lowball me on this. They'll be like, "Oh, the best I can do on this Yogi is $300 in trade cash." It's a centered 5 Yogi. $300 on that? Are you kidding me? It's a joke.
Okay, I gotta stop looking at this card. All right, let's go to the next question because I know you gotta get some sleep soon.
That's all right. You two are awesome. Keep up the videos. I gotta crash now. No worries, man. It's
We
one-
have to crash.
It's 12 here. It's 1 Eastern for me. So I've now been up for a while. Hiya Vintage Oddball Cards. David goes, "What's up, James? Hopped in just in time to see that
David
Mathewson."
M in
There
the
you go.
house. How you doing?
Sweet Yogi. Have that Yogi. Hi.
All right. So, guys, it's late. We're gonna end this. I'm sorry, I want to keep hanging out, but I'm trying to be very cordial to my friend here who's been up for about like 20 hours, basically, right?
Yeah,
So
after 3 hours of sleep too.
I want him to get some sleep because he's gonna be back on the move tomorrow, right after the show, and he's gonna be jet lagged. So I'm trying to be kind to my man Ryan. Ryan, we got to do this more often, man.
I agree. Every time Dallas, we should just do it. Have some fun with it.
Basically, well, I was on your Hobby Palooza, and before that, one of your streams. So it was about time you came on mine. So,
Hold on.
guys,
He said, "Beautiful, Maddie. I'm going to be wearing a Maddie T205 shirt at the National." Oh, that's sick.
that's cool. But that's Rick for you. He's the celebrity right there, Rick.
Rick is.
And you just had John Mangini's collection on your latest video.
Yeah.
I want to have Rick in my video.
Should I do it? Should I go over Rick's collection? Does he
Oh
have a
my
PC
God.
collection on there?
I want to see them battle, like have like a battle of collections, because both, if you think Mangini's is good, his is
Really?
right there with him.
Do you have a video on your channel just showing off your PC? If not, make one this week. I'll put you on for next
No,
week.
no, no. It'll be too many cards. It'll be too
No, you can make like a 20-minute video. Mangini was an hour video, man. Like
I
I,
wanna
couldn't
have-
even watch that full
This
video.
this is what I want to have. I want to have Rick and I want to have Mangini on my live stream together. That's what I want. The two superstars in the hobby together, a triad. We could even have it with Ryan. And
Oh, dude,
I
my
think it'll be
collection's
an
not there,
epic
man.
one. No, but it'll be an interview. We're gonna talk about how they've
Bro, you're
amassed.
not going to talk about their collections. I'm just like,
No, I want to talk about it, admire them, and basically get into the mind of John Mangini and Rick, because I think for them to have gone as long as they did with their collection is amazing. So that's what I want to do. And much respect. That's all I have to say. Much respect, Rick, to your collection. I'm an admirer of it, and I admire your content.
maybe that's something we could do at National. Just have everyone talk.
I don't know if we're going to have enough time.
True.
It's going to be so many
Well,
people mingling.
I know 4 trade nights right now, which I'm trying to go to. On top of a party that Card Score is having Friday night, they're actually having Bobby Hull out there, and it's awesome. So I'm gonna be going to that. I guess I got to meet Bobby Hull.
This guy, he is a celebrity. I got to
Dude,
take
I'm
it
not a
back.
ce-
He's a
I'm not a
celebrity.
celebrity, man.
It's through this guy that
Well,
I,
I
end
do
up-
have a fan that just stalks me though. that Stan account.
He has stalkers. He's a celebrity. And I'm not one stalker. Maybe the guy that gives me a thumbs down every
I know
day.
no one's ever walked up to me like, oh Ryan, take a picture with me. So I'm not that celebrity.
I'm waiting.
All right. Some
Sorry
technical
about that.
difficulty with that.
Technical difficulties. My phone just decided to like shut down on me or something, like shut up, cut it.
All right, so he said Bobby holds a talker, especially after a few pops. I'm hoping I get a talk. That'd be awesome to put him on the vlog. The first Hall of Famer on my channel would be great.
You know who I'm hoping to meet one day? Tory Hunter. Because I will remind him how I met him. I will interview him to let everyone know I met the dude, hung out with him, went to his apartment. He introduced me to everyday Eddie Guardado, Jock Jones, and LaTroy Hawkins. And he'll remember because I met him with his wife and his kid. And I want to like bump into him one day and do an interview because he's the coolest dude. I know he'll sit down with me and hang out. And then I'll show him his cards. Hey, which is your favorite card? We could talk cards. We could talk
Yeah, show him that
sports.
dual auto.
Then the auto. I'll be like, because I never asked him for a picture. I never asked him for an autograph. It was like hanging out with Ryan right now. That's how I treat people. I don't get starstruck. So that's probably why I was so cool with him. But I want to go hang out with this guy and meet him again and be like, hey, remember me? That was like 20 years ago.
You just gotta try messaging him on like social media.
I gotta see if
You gotta make a Twitter. I'm trying to get him on Twitter or Instagram. You gotta make one.
I probably have to.
It's a great hot way to connect with people in the hobby.
You gotta. I don't know. What are we up to here? How many more questions do we have?
Yeah, do you guys want to do? We'll do like 3 more questions, and then I gotta get some sleep because I'm still gonna try running in the morning.
Oh, he's jogging too. Oh Lord. Go ahead, read it because I.
Well, we don't have any questions coming in yet, so.
Oh, so that's
3
it. That was it.
I'll say 3 more questions, then we'll call it a night.
No, forget this. We gotta call this. I'm calling it. This is my channel. I'm
Okay.
calling it. Guys, thank you for joining us. We're gonna do more in the future. It seems like you guys liked it, but we're gonna try to do it earlier. We'll try to do like 7 or 8 o'clock, where we could not have people falling asleep on us. Until then, look for him at Breakout Cards. Ryan and Steven. He's just one half of the duo. I gotta give respect to Steven too. And look for us with our content. We're gonna try to do something with the Dallas and then at the National. And he's gonna be at Atlanta in 2 more days. So
Yeah.
he's
In Iowa next week.
Oof. All right, so that's it. Let's end
See you
it.
guys.
See
And
you.
I appreciate it, Otani. I don't have a physical version out this month, but once the digital does well, then I'm going to buy some physical editions and start working on those. But I really appreciate it.
He wants what, Otani?
No, he was talking about my book.
Oh,
He said
the
he's
book.
going to order 10 books for his store. So I really appreciate it, man. That helps a lot. But I won't have a physical right away. I want to test the waters with the digital because physical side, there's a lot more cost associated with it and everything. So I want to make sure I don't go down thousands of dollars in debt for that book first.
He'll sign your Kindle, your tablet.
Well, I'll turn my signature into an NFT. So
There
we
go.
go, guys.
All
Enjoy.
right. So with that being said, I want you all to enjoy the hobby. Happy hunting when it comes to cards. I want everyone to stay safe and be blessed. See you on the next one.